welcome back for another book review. I didn't know what I was getting into with this one. I feel like we should note that early in the video. So this is The Power of Basics, Introduction to the Modern Zen Life of Calm, Spirituality, and Success. I don't know how to say this guy's name. I have not mastered the ability to speak any, like, Japanese names. Really, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. There's a lot of languages over there that are kind of a similar soundish vibes, and I can't pronounce, like, any of them. So, this guy, yeah. So, if you are also unfamiliar, I picked this book because of the thing. I was like, oh, that's kind of intriguing. It was one of those that me and husband were just meandering around the library, and I was like, ooh, I'm intrigued. What is The Power of Basics? I would love to know. And then I did not know that this guy is weird. So this book, I went in without knowing anything about anything for this one. And this is a two-part lecture. And so it's two lectures put together into this book. And after each lecture was a Q&A, which is really like maybe 1 to 2 questions, but was like a chunk of the book. It's like 4 parts really to the book. And it's a lecture from this guy, and he talks about the power of the basics. What are the basics? He never actually says, but you can kind of infer, kinda. So the basics is kind of like, I guess it would be your daily life and just remaining humble, and like some of the cultural things did not translate to the Western world, and I'm assuming maybe that's what the basics are. I don't know. He doesn't really say. Basically just stay humble, stay, on your path of what you're doing, and, he has like examples of like, in Japanese culture, I guess it's a thing, because I'm not one of the people that really studied Japanese that much. It's cool, but it's not like the thing I want to learn about, it's just like, they have interesting food. And like, I've watched people do some vlogs there, and like, sometimes how they manage to organize such small spaces truly amazes the brain. But I'm not one of the people that's like hyper-focused on it, I know people that are. I know people that have learned Japanese because they are super intensely focused on it, and that's cool. It's a hard language to learn. But like, I haven't memorized the culture. I know it's different. That's all I know. And so I guess this is a thing that I'd heard, because I did get bored one time, and it was like one of those weird like recommendeds from YouTube, and you're like, okay, about like things Japanese people do that like we should probably do, and it like helps with like the energy of your house and whatever. And one of the things is you have to clean your bathroom every single day. And that in this book he talks about how CEOs will go in early and they clean the bathroom, which is like, can you imagine in America? Oh, what a world. That's not a thing at all. And like, it's hard to find many places that actually really mean that they support the custodial staff, because like, they don't get enough respect and they should be earning more, because like, have you had to clean up after humans? We're disgusting. And so yeah, he talks about stuff like that, and like, is that the basics that we're talking about? I don't know. He never really actually says. So this is a really rambly one, because honestly, I don't know how to summarize this book, but despite all of that, I actually liked it. So I gave it a 5, but like, it's an experience, because the thing is I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Like, it's kind of this guy's story of how he is a smart dude. I'll give him credit, because like, I guess he used to work at some company that, I don't know what they did, but they were doing trades with English-speaking countries. I'm assuming like the US, Canada, maybe England, and because I guess that's the 3 main ones, right, that speak English as the first language. But like, I feel like it was like that. I can't remember if he actually said, but he does a lot of work to New York, so I'm assuming it's here. But he works for this company, and it's like, they're doing these big money trading back and forth things and contracts and stuff, and he has to proofread the translations and translate it into English from Japanese. I swear to God, if I've got that wrong, I'm gonna look so stupid. It does say Japanese. I wanted to make sure. I was like, I'm pretty sure. So he's translating it from like Japanese to English, and like he gets really good at it. And yet he then ends up like starting this business, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, whatever, I'll look into it. And then I got through the book and I was like, this is so cool, because he talks about like how you always need to be learning and, you know, remain humble, especially if you climb up, you know, like the ladders of life, you know, like remember to stay humble and like not let it go to your head. Again, CEOs cleaning the bathrooms. And then also to like always be learning and like be learning stuff now that you're going to use in like 10 years, 20 years. And it's like, that's an intriguing concept, even when you're old, like to keep doing that. And I've seen people do that in my own life, and it works, and it's true. And it's like, remember your roots and things. And it's like, okay, there's a lot of good information in here. Like whether, like for me being, you know, an entrepreneur trying to do the whole author thing full time, like, yeah, a lot of it was like, yes. But then also, there were things that I'm like, I probably could have used that too when I was working at all of my like corporate jobs and like regular, horrible, have to have a boss jobs. I don't miss those days. I do miss getting a paycheck though, that was nice. I haven't sold a book yet this month, so it's so fun to be spending months on a book and you're like, is it gonna sell? But anyways, this book, it has a lot of like, also like aiming for what is realistic for you, and you can move that goalpost but make it realistic. And so it had a lot of good stuff, and I was like, this is the kind of book that I actually would like to read once a year and like make notes to myself and then reflect on those notes when another year has gone by and see how things have changed. Like, it's that kind of a book. There's very few that I actively will continue to reread. Like Cunningham's the book, the green one, you know, the encyclopedia. Good lord, that is a lot of Cunningham's books. The Witches, oh my god. See, I'm sick. You gotta cut me slack. I don't have a brain. Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner, the green book that has a green ribbon in it, that is my bookmark I have had since I got the book. That one. I will reread that on a semi-regular basis, like at least every few years, I will reread it. And this is one of those that I feel like I could add to the rotation again every year. I think it would be interesting to take notes, see what stands out, and like make it a thing every year, because it's got a lot of really good stuff in it. And then I got to the end, and then I started to look into it, and I was like, what in the cult did I just read? It's not the book itself, it's the organization and the dude. Because this book is really good, and I was loving it, and I was like, wow, I'm super intrigued. And then we get to who he is as a person, and you're like, what? What do you mean, what? So he started Happy Science, and he doesn't even talk about it on the back page, because it sounds good in theory. Happy Science, which is the company religion thing that he started, is a global movement that empowers individuals to find purpose and spiritual happiness and to share that happiness with their families, societies, and the world. With more than 12 million members around the world, Happy Science aims to increase awareness of spiritual truths and expand our capacity for love, compassion, and joy so that we can create the kind of world we all wish to live in. That sounds good, right? Like, that doesn't sound too weird. But then in the book, he talks about how they're trying to get these massive donations and how they're trying to hit their, like, quarterly goals or whatever. And it's like, that gives an ick, doesn't it? Like, what? And it's just... Okay, so he calls himself, and I'm gonna mispronounce it, El Canter. See this word right here, this word. I don't know how to say that word, that one. Which means the light of the earth, and is the supreme god of the earth, who has been guiding humankind since the beginning of Genesis. Oh yeah. He whom Jesus called Father and Muhammad called Allah, different parts of El dude name I don't know how to pronounce, core consciousness have descended to Earth in the past, once as Alpha, the other as, and I'm gonna mispronounce this one too, there's a lot of names I'm gonna mispronounce here real fast, Elohim? Butchering words. His spirit branches, such as a name, Shaki Amuni Buddha, and Hermes. Isn't Hermes a god? Anyways, have descended to Earth many times and helped to flourish many civilizations, to unite various religions, and to integrate various fields of study in order to build a new civilization on Earth a part of core consciousness as descended to Earth as master, and then the author's name. And just for context, there's the little mappy map of his thing. That feels weird. Also, you have a deity, Toth. So that's the thing. Also Hermes. So I don't even know. It got whack. It got whack real fast. I don't know. Cause the book was really good, but then that stuff starts to get real culty real fast. And then he writes about a gajillion different topics. And at first I was like, hell yeah, I also plan to write about a gajillion topics. Again, I have plotted out the next 2 years of books, having 30 books published when I turn 30 next year. So like, I get it. A lot of books, a lot of different subjects, right? Like, only 5 of those are going to be fiction, and they're already done. And so all of them are going to be like different witchcraft topics. So like, sure, you know, I have a lot of things to talk about. Yeah, sure, go for it, dude. But it's feeling culty. So I don't know how I feel about it, because a lot of the other stuff is like very cult, weird, Scientology kind of vibes. And I don't know how I feel about that. So I loved this book. I don't know how I feel about the author. It's one of those where you're like, oh, I don't know what I got into. Oh dear. So the book itself I think is good. I don't know about happy science. I tried to look into it a little bit, but I couldn't find a whole lot of information, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, it left me feeling kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this. So I would recommend this if you want to do some self-development, self-help, and just kind of work on yourself and, you know, get some ideas. I do think it's a really well-written book. That's the thing that's kind of freaky deaky, is it's like, if it's a cult, am I falling for the cult? Is that what's going on? Or is it just a good message? And sometimes people are just weird. I don't know. But yeah, I would love to know if other people know about happy science. I don't, personally. I tried a little bit. There's not a branch here in Utah, so it's not like I can just like run on over there and talk to them. There's a few in the US, but there's not a lot. But yeah, it's a good book, but it feels culty when you get past the book and you start reading about the author and other things from the thing. It gets a little weird, and I'm not a big fan of, like, and that's where it feels weird. It's like, I feel weird supporting someone who thinks they're like an incarnation of God. That's a cult. That's, you know, I grew up with FLDS people around, okay? So I know culty weird vibes. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't know that going into this. I don't know. I'm just saying it feels kind of culty weird. Maybe it's not. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. So anyways, I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below about this one, because obviously I still have mixed feelings, and it's been a few days. It's been marinating, and I still don't know what I want to talk about for it, to be honest. Like, it's one of those books, it's like, it was really good, but also, what? Okay? I don't know. And also the fact that I still don't know what the basics are also isn't helpful. So anyways, I'd love to know your thoughts on this. If you've read it, please tell me your thoughts on it, because maybe you have more thoughts than I have thoughts, but let me know in the comments down below. If you want to support me and get access to a bunch of stuff, I have a Patreon if you want to check it out. Also, I write books. I haven't sold any this month, so if you wanted to check it out, that would be cool. But if not, they're also on Patreon, mostly. I'm still working on the audiobook. It's fine. It'll get there. I don't get interaction with it, so I kind of feel like, what's the point? Sometimes, and I'm just like, I got better things to do. So anyways, yeah, patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Books are linked down below. And really, honestly, the thing that helps the most is just watching my videos. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Doesn't even cost you money. So anyways, till next time, hopefully I will, well actually, I know I won't next time, because I'm gonna record another one right after this. But then eventually maybe I will have a brain. And then maybe after these 3 videos go up, I'll start to be feeling better, and I will not be sick, and I'll have a brain again. That would be awesome. Trying to read through these books while sick was awesome, by the way, because that does maybe hinder the ability to process what. I mean, it was still a good book though, but anyways, till next time, thank you and blessed be.